Hi everyone! So I'm in California and most of us are stuck at home, gyms are closed, as well as non-essential businesses. And so many of my friends who teach classes like yoga, Pilates, and dance are worried that they're not going to have an income for the next few months. If you are in a similar situation, I think there's a way to help your business stay afloat, and that is drop-in online classes. Now, I know that for the majority of dance teachers, drop-in classes are not really a part of your normal business model. You're probably more familiar with the pay-by-the-month model, where students learn a routine over several months, and then once a year, the entire studio has a recital. Drop-in classes are different. Students pay by the class, and so they might show up for a class today, but then not show up to another class for another 3 weeks. So if you're a dance teacher, you can't teach a routine and then add on from week to week. Instead, with a drop-in class, you would do warm-ups and stretching for maybe 20 minutes and then teach a short combination for the next half hour. And then the next week or the next class would be a new combination. For yoga and Pilates teachers, you're probably already familiar with drop-in classes. And I know that there's also a few people out there who do weekly academic tutoring where maybe parents pay by the month, and then maybe now that's drying up for you because students are now staying home. Well, you can also do drop-in workshops to supplement your income. Workshops on test prep for younger students, or for high school and university students, business and writing etiquette, or home finances. You could do resume writing. Now, even though I want to be positive and super optimistic that everyone will be able to teach students remotely, no matter what your subject matter is, we do have to be a little bit realistic. We're not going to be able to teach gymnastics or acrobatics from home. I just think that that's a little bit too dangerous. And I know some dance teachers just don't have enough space in their homes to teach a combination. So if that's you, think about the basic skills that you can teach. You can do workshops on stretches, strength, flexibility. You can do a workshop on balance and turns. So think about the specific areas where your students might need some extra practice, and think about exercises that target that area. The reason why I think drop-in classes are a good idea for keeping small businesses in business is that they're extremely flexible. On the teaching side of things, you aren't required to stick to a schedule. You can hold the class when it's a good time for you, although you certainly can hold weekly scheduled drop-in classes if you want to. But also, if you are a studio owner, you can have different members of your staff teach the class depending on who is available. And for your participants, it's a lot less of a commitment. So if your regular students are now on a limited budget because they or maybe their parents lost their job due to the quarantine, they won't have to quit completely. It'll allow them to still be a part of your studio, but at a much lower cost. Plus, they'll get to maintain their skills and their health. Now, how do you conduct a paid drop-in class online? I think it'll be easiest if I start by showing you an example. My good friend Charlie is a Pure Barre teacher in Aspen, and this was posted on his Instagram. In case you're watching this on your phone, I'll tell you what it says. It says, "You are invited to my live Pure Barre class tomorrow, Sunday morning at 10:30 Mountain Time." Then he lists the equipment you'll need. Then he tells people where the class will be held. He says it will be held on Facebook and Instagram. The fee is $10. Then he tells people how to sign up and pay. He says to get access, Venmo $10 to @PureBarreAspen and leave your Instagram handle in the comment. Then you'll be added to the Instagram account where it will be streamed. And the rest of the post is just tags. So it's pretty simple, right? You absolutely can follow this example and keep your classes going. So I know some people are used to doing informal transactions online. For example, I'm really into plants. I've seen people buy and sell succulents on Facebook just by direct messaging each other and then sending money via PayPal. But I know that some people are not familiar at all with this process, and it can be a little daunting if you've never done it before. Don't worry, this is new for a lot of people, and now is the perfect time to learn how to do this because the bar is really low. No one is expecting your classes to go 100% smoothly. We're all just doing the best we can to get through this challenging time. So if you're apprehensive about doing drop-in classes online, here's a few tips. Tip number 1, use a platform where you can make your class private so that only paid students can access it. Now, if you want to do a free class, that is totally fine. But if you're doing a paid class, make sure that the general public cannot take it for free. And I know that might sound obvious, but I know a lot of people out there are new to this, so I do think it's worth mentioning. You don't want to make your paid students mad by charging them money and then not charging others. So just be sure that whatever platform you're using is private. You can do private live classes in a private Facebook group. Note that this is different from a Facebook page. You can also use a private Instagram account. You can do a YouTube live video with the privacy set to unlisted. That way only people with the link can view your video, but it is possible for people to share the link with others. And you can also use Zoom. With Zoom, you can send a private link to your class ahead of time. The nice thing about Zoom is that you can interact with your students. You can have them turn on their video, turn on their microphone, or you can turn off their video or mute them as necessary. I did a very brief intro to Zoom, which I will link down in the description box below. Tip number 2, be very clear about how to sign up, pay, and access the class. So you'll notice that the example I showed you was very, very clear. There wasn't any extra information. It was very to the point. Remember that people's attention spans are not that long, especially if you're advertising on social media. When you post about your class, stick to the basic information only. Tip number 3, use the most secure form of payment that you can. So if you're advertising your classes to people that you already know, this isn't as much of a concern because presumably you've already built up some trust with each other. But if you're attracting students that you've never met before, you should know that certain forms of payment, such as Venmo and PayPal Friends and Family, may not protect you as a seller. The safest way to accept payment is to sign up for PayPal as a business. Then your students would have to sign up for a PayPal account, and then they would have to tell you what their PayPal email address is, and then you would have to send them a PayPal invoice. Then they pay the invoice through PayPal. It is a few more steps than simply saying, Venmo me at this account. But you should know that Venmo was created specifically for friends and family, so they do not guarantee that buyers won't scam sellers or sellers won't scam buyers. As a marketer, I can tell you pretty honestly that you will get more signups for your classes the easier the signup process is. So I will leave it up to you to decide how people pay. And you know what? If you're not sure if you should use Venmo or PayPal, you can create accounts for both and then let your students decide which way to pay you. Finally, tip number 4, remember that every interaction that you have with your students is an opportunity to build your brand. I know that this is a stressful time for studio owners, teachers, parents, students, pretty much everyone, but you are a leader in your community and you help to set the tone for how people should interact with each other and the attitudes that we need to have going forward. So just remember to be positive, communicate clearly, and if you get any messages that sort of rub you the wrong way, because I know a lot of teachers out there are getting messages from parents saying that they're not going to pay for their child's classes, just respond as positively and as gracefully as you can. Remember, people are getting laid off. They're not used to staying home so much. They're nervous about the future, and so they're cranky. And also remember that people aren't used to taking classes online, so you will have to walk them through the process. Just explain everything as clearly as you can and be upfront about what your sign-up process is. Oh, and tip number 5, if you do not have an email list yet, I highly recommend starting one, especially for times like this when you need to send a message out to all of your students and let them know what's going on. Email is so much easier than making 300 phone calls or posting on Facebook and just hoping that people see it. Email is a direct line of contact to your loyal students and clients and fans. And I should mention that in the marketing world, email is known to have a much higher conversion rate than social media. So if you're having trouble getting people to sign up for your classes, my best advice is to build your email list and then treat your email list like VIPs. Give them first access to your classes, exclusive tips, and when it comes time to promote primarily to your email list and then focus on social media second. All right, so that's it for this video. In an upcoming video, I was thinking about doing an example of setting up a drop-in class if people seem interested in it. So let me know down in the comments if you want to see that. Or let me know what other things you need help with. So thanks so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more, and I will see you in my next video. Thanks everyone. Bye.